Hi guys, just thought I'd do an extra video to add to some of the stuff that Andy's done with the Basecamp, helping people out with Basecamp. I know a lot of people struggle with Basecamp, and his videos have pretty much nailed it on the head how I go about using it and how he uses it with his Montana, etc. I just thought I'd do this little extra video to just show some of the things I do when I'm checking out tracks to see how trafficable they might be, or sniffing out new tracks sometimes. It might be useful to some people. This is how I use Google Earth in conjunction with Basecamp. There used to be a function in Basecamp where you could go straight from Basecamp and view tracks in Google Earth, but Google, there's some agreement there, they shafted that, so you've got to go about it a different way. Anyway, bear with me. Haven't really done these videos before, but I'll show you how I go about it. So this is the same track that Andy used in his videos, so I'll use it as well, just as an example. There's a little section out in a gallon gown, so I'll just use that as an example. So I've zoomed in on that area. So sometimes this is where the old fire tower used to be out in Gullengown, so just as an example, say I might want to check out this section through here as maybe a different route along Kilco Mergan Road. So what I do is I use the route tool to mark out my tracks, because I just reckon it's easier than marking out the track bit by bit. So that's made that there as a route, but I want to work with a track, so I'll just convert it to a track. I'll make it a different color so it stands out, and I'll call it just temp for now. So now I've got that as a track. I'll just delete that route now. So there it is there. And say I want to have a look at that in Google Earth and just see what it looks like. It might be steep, it might, I can roughly tell what sort of terrain it is. So what I do is I export that. You have to export it though as, not as a GPX, but a KML file, so you can open it in Google Earth. So I'll do that. That'll be in my downloads folder, so go to my downloads folder. Click on here, hopefully. It'll try and open in Basecamp again, but you tell it to open it in Google Earth. And there is that section of track. Yeah, so I've quickly added the original track in here as well, just to make it a bit easier to understand what I've done here. And this red line is the section that I plotted out and then sent into Google Earth here to just to maybe have a look at the terrain, or many different reasons I might want to look at it. Look how trafficable it might be on big bikes, or how steep it might be, or sometimes even, whether it's a dirt road or a bitumen road, or if it's heavily treed, or, you can get a fair idea. You can zoom in fairly close, scroll around, get a fair idea of what a track might be like. You can see there that's Kilcoy Mergan Road, for example. You can see that it travels along a ridge line. You can zoom in. Gives me, especially as I do a lot of trips on a big bike, I don't want to get into strife, or if I'm leading groups of guys, I don't want to send them into stuff that's too gnarly, so I can check things out on Google Earth and usually get a pretty good idea of the condition of what the road's like. I can obviously see that's a dirt road, it's not a bitumen road. Lots of different, the further you zoom out, you sort of get a bit better idea of the terrain, usually. And yeah, so that's what I do to check out what what a track might be like. But also inversely, sometimes like that that main route actually comes down through this area here. But I might be looking on Google Earth planning a ride, and I notice, I'll zoom in a bit, I notice, for example, there's this other track here, and I think, oh, that might be interesting. So there's a way that I trace this on Google Earth and send it back to Basecamp, and then I can throw it on my GPS. So if I'm out, usually exploring or doing recce's for rides, I can check out a track easy. So I'll show you how I go about that. In Google Earth, it's a track, but in Google Earth, it's called a path tool. So you can either go add path or use the tool. It's the same thing. A bit like Basecamp, there's a few different ways to do things. So it comes up, I just name it, give it a name, so I can recognise it if I save it. The important thing is you click OK, for some reason it disappears. So, and sometimes I'll change the colour of it just so it makes it easier to see. So I just move that down out of the way a bit, and then you can just trace a track out, pretty similar to in Basecamp. The only thing with Google Earth, I haven't been able to find an undo button. So if you make a mistake, you can't really go back. And I don't get too fussy with it because it just gives me a rough idea when I'm out on the bike. I'm looking at. Sometimes I might want to zoom in. No, yeah, obviously it goes through some heavily treed section there, for example. Just move the map around, zoom it out a bit. I'll make this happen a bit quicker for us. Like I said, I don't get too fussy with it. Might just zoom in there a bit and see what's going on. Yeah, okay, so I'll look at that section. I might be interested. I'm only using this as an example, of course. I actually know this track, but I'll zoom that back out so I can. Probably should have chosen a shorter track to not make this so boring for everyone, but you'll get the idea. And I know just that this section here, that's where the main track that the ride was planning on going comes back to. So that's the main track for the ride's actually this road here, through here. But I've just spotted that on Google Earth, for example. Oh, I might have a look at that. That might be a better track through there, and I'll be able to go and check it out on my bike. So I'll save that track back to Basecamp. So I do that by just dragging this box back up to here. I can click OK now, and it'll put it over here. It's named it, so I've got it highlighted. I just go up and save it, and I want to go save as. It saves it as a KMZ, but that'll open in Basecamp. So I save it. I already had one there previously, but I'll just replace it. So that's that. So